Being married for 50 years does not mean you have a good marriage. That is what we're going to talk about on today's episode. Stay tuned. So this week, I listened to this really interesting podcast featuring a future friend of mine whose name is Richie Norton. Richie, on this show, he told this amazing story that happened to him in his mid-20s, I think it was. So he was invited by Stephen M.R. Covey. Stephen M.R. Covey is the son of Stephen R. Covey, who wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So he got invited by Mr. Covey to come help train business professionals to be better leaders. Now, when he was offered the gig, he freaked out. He felt too young and too inexperienced for the opportunity. He was like, "You want me to go train these gray hairs? What are they going to think? What are they going to learn from a guy who's young and inexperienced as me?" And Mr. Covey responded with some epic advice. I love this line. He said, "A lot of people say that they have 20 years of experience when in reality, they only have 1 year of experience 20 times. Now that is what I call a knowledge bomb. That quote perfectly summarizes why I hate it when people say that they or somebody that they know have a great marriage because they've been together for some random number of years that's supposed to sound impressive. Just because you've been married for a couple of decades doesn't mean you've got a good marriage. Tons of people are married for ages, but they just relive the same dysfunctional year over and over and over again. Sometimes being married a long time just means you're really good at enduring being miserable, or having the same fights over and over, or constantly walking on eggshells around each other. Or you've just stopped caring. Or maybe you're just too scared to speak up and say that what you've got isn't what you want, because the relationship you've got, as bad as it is, might be as good as it gets for you. That does not sound like what any of us signed up for when we first fell in love. Yet this trap is so easy to fall into. Have you noticed that the problems that you have in your marriage are almost always different versions of the same thing? The same argument about how you spend or save your money, or the same argument about who initiates sex, or the same argument about chores around the house, or which in-laws you visit over the holidays. It sucks to feel stuck in a cycle like this. It's miserable. Yet I see it all the freaking time. Now, this is what I call a mediocre marriage. Reliving the same arguments, the same struggles, the same disappointments, frustrations, and challenges over and over and over for decades. Now, if you want an incredible marriage, you got to get unstuck. You got to be like Freddie Mercury and break free. You need to grow, to learn, to improve, to advance, to invest in the things that matter the most. You've got to confront your shortcomings. You've got to speak up. You have to assess what works and what doesn't and what needs to change. And you can't do this just once. You have to be doing it consistently over time. There's always room to grow in your marriage. Always. There is never an end in sight. Think of your marriage experience. Do you have 5, 10, or 20 years of experience, or do you have 1 year of experience 5, 10, or 20 times? Are you stuck in one area of your life? And if you are stuck, what do you need to learn to get unstuck? What conversations do you need to have that you've been avoiding? What needs to change so that you can have a different outcome? If you need help trying to figure out what you need to do to break out of that cycle that you're stuck in, let's talk. Just shoot me an email. It's nate@growthmarriage.com. Hey, really quick before you go, I want to tell you about something that I'm really, really excited about. So my good friend Laura Heck, who is a marriage and family therapist and a certified Gottman therapist, we get together every couple of months and we put on this amazing workshop called The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. It's based on Dr. John Gottman's research. It's amazingly powerful, and it's designed to give you all of the tools and resources and principles that you need to take your marriage from wherever it is to the next level. It's amazing. And a lot of people ask me, like, who should go to this workshop? And here is my answer to that. This workshop is just like a tune-up for your marriage. So just like you get the oil changed in your car regularly, and you probably take it in for a tune-up every so often, or just like you go get a physical if you care about your body,
you should probably come to a 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work workshop every so often just to get a tune-up on your marriage. We'll help you have some conversations about where your marriage is at, like what's going really well, maybe expose some things that could use a little bit of work, and then give you the tools and principles that you need to do the work to make your marriage even stronger and even better. I want you to come visit us and come do this workshop with us. It would be amazing to have you there. Go to utahdatenight.com to figure out where the next event is going to be held. Some of them are digital, so you can attend from anywhere in the world and when it's going to be held. And we'd love to have you attend and be there with us. It's probably the only way that you get to work with me and Laura in a really close way together at the same time, other than the Epic Wives Experiment. And this is a great addition to that if you've already participated in that as well. All right, guys, hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope I get to see you at a 7 Principles event very soon.